2, 1.
And good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in podcast land. Brendan Cunningham, the real estate doctor here at EXP. We're with Matt Paul. We're going to talk about all the things that you need to know about real estate this week, but we're afraid to ask. I love statistics. I love statistics.
We're going to throw some numbers.
But I always like to look and find out what the statistics, how they're based.
Yeah, exactly.
But I saw a number the other day, and I said, "What you talking about, Willis?"
Yeah.
And this happens. There's a phenomenon in real estate. It happens every year, right around now, and we're right around now is like Thanksgiving is tomorrow.
Tomorrow is Thanksgiving.
So between now and the end of the year, is it a good time to sell your house? Is it a bad time to sell your house? Does your house look well? Does it not? That's almost the whole show.
Yep.
But having said that, a lot of people say, "Wow, my house hasn't sold, so I guess the market's not good. I think I'll take my house off the market and put it on the spring." What do you think about that? Good decision, bad decision?
I think it's a bad decision.
I think it's a stupid decision.
Yes.
But, hey, I didn't want to be too blunt.
Yeah.
But why?
Because if you're having a hard time selling it in a market where that's a little less active and maybe a little more inventory, or less inventory, you're gonna go in a time when it's highly competitive.
When is it highly competitive? In the spring?
In the spring, but
highly competitive.
Yes, and our springs really, it depends on the weather, but they start in February, March,
And historically, they used to actually, when I first moved to Western Europe, they used to say it started January 15th because we had the January thaw. We don't really have a thaw.
No, it starts to kick in January now.
I mean, people start to,
and it goes till May.
So let me take my house off the market and I'll put it on at a time when there's more inventory to compete against me. So that will help me get my price.
Yeah, no,
it's goofy logic.
Yeah, because most with all the competition, if your house is, say, it's not selling for a reason, right? Whether it's overpriced, the condition, or whatever. If you put that next to a house that is, totally desirable in the sense where it's move-in ready, it's priced right, that's just going to make your house look even worse.
Yeah, and the key here is move-in ready, priced right. That house will fly off the shelf.
Yep, in our market here,
and pretty much most market, but here especially.
Yeah,
and we're still seeing houses with multiple offers, and we're still seeing appreciation in what we expect.
We're still experiencing low inventory.
Yeah, so all that stuff is business as usual, but we're seeing this phenomenon where people want to take their house off in many markets. It could even be here, but that would be extra goofy here. But I saw a statistic, and they say, well, this happens every year, but it's happened a little more this year.
Yep.
It's increased to a number, and I said, what? And the number stuck in my head, and it's going to stick in your head now for the same reason it's sticking in my head.
Big number.
It increased by 57% year over year, where sellers have said, I'm going to take my house off the market and put it on in the spring. 57. I remembered Heinz 57, right? Yep. 57 ingredients in that thing. Whether they're, who the heck knows who they are. But actually, I just learned how to make ketchup from scratch.
Well, there you go.
And it didn't have 57 ingredients in it.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
But man, what was I putting there? But 57%, how could that be possible? And then the theories started to come in. Well, obviously, it's the market that's making people do this. And somebody came up with a better theory. And I think this is the theory. It's not the market because it's that broken in any of these places. It's the level of expectation that certain sellers have set for themselves.
Yes.
They are anticipating because they've heard, and probably through guys similar to us that aren't giving you the real story, that things are selling over the asking price.
Well, for years we've experienced it. So they've been watching.
They're watching. They say, well, if this guy got 3, I should get 4. And they're the guys that are feeding the price to their agent, and they're pricing it to the point where, yes, the market's not responding. Okay, it heard your message. It's not listening.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is the Pogo cartoon. We have met the enemy, and it is us. If you're the seller and you're doing this, okay, so. Yeah, you got to let the market do what it can do, but it can only do what it can do.
Exactly.
And if we're experiencing,
you have to read the signs of the market.
You got to read the signs. Yep. Ask, and you've got to talk to your agent and say, what's really going on here? Why is this? The market could not be that broken? No, so maybe you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
So I thought that was worthy of bringing up. If you're not going to price it right, if you're not going to do the repairs, your house is not going to fly off the shelf.
Yeah. Yep.
It's pretty much that simple and that basic. But
Yep.
people don't want to know that.
No. It's years of hearing one story or listening to friends saying, "Oh, I got this over asking," and and from my experience, a lot of sellers that I talk to don't take into consideration the house down the street was a ranch, that was totally done up, and they're in a split level, which is much less desirable style of home, and you can't comp those two together.
No, you can't. And oddly enough, there was a house on my street that sold, and I said, "Oh, good, it got a good number. I like that because it obviously affects me."
Yep.
And when I called the agent to get the number before it closed, they were nice, and they did tell me because I knew them, but they said, "Yeah, it's going to close tomorrow." So I can tell you. They said, but it did have concessions in it. Okay, now the concessions goes on top of the price.
Yep.
Or either way, it's extra value.
Yes.
Okay. Now you may not consider it extra value, but it's extra value that gets plugged in there.
Yeah, because the bank still has to appraise it at
still
that
has to
amount.
appraise.
Yes.
That's the number.
Yep.
So does it artificially inflate the price? Yeah, you might say that it does, but I don't know that I agree with it. That's the price.
Yeah.
There's a cost to doing business. There are hard costs and there are soft costs. You put them all together, you make your soup, that's what you got.
Exactly. Yep.
And after a while, no one really knows that, well, yeah, but 6% of this was because of concessions or whatever. Yep. After it closes, it's just value. And now it's a comp.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so be careful if you're talking to your agent and you have this in your head that you want to take your house off the market. Listen, this is America. You can still do that.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
But ask yourself why, make a good justification. You could be at fault. And then ask yourself, okay, so what would be my expectation in the spring?
That's what I was just going to say. What are we going to do differently when we relist? Because if you're going to put the same stale product on the market in a more competitive market,
in a more competitive market,
it's going to be.
This is a really good idea.
Yeah.
no, not a good idea.
Yep.
Okay, you got some numbers here too. I thought.
Yeah. So we were just wanted to see what our area, Western New York area here, had done year over year.
Year over year.
Yep. So listings. So when you put a house on the market, to what it sells for is list to sale price, and on average, we're selling about 4% above list price in our market,
which is good because historically we used to quote 3 and say, here's the deal. ROI in most places means return on investment. Here it just means return of investment because you're not going to get big appreciation. You're not going to get double digits. We did for a while, but normally if you got 3%,
you're happy.
You were happy.
Yep.
You knew you were going to get your money back at least.
Yep.
But so now it's a little better. Okay, so that's good. What else?
And then that's the city of Buffalo, and then like the suburbs, the hot suburbs, Amherst, Clarence, Orchard Park, those areas.
Tonawanda.
Yeah, so Tonawanda was up 9%.
Yeah,
Tonawanda
is great.
And Tonawanda's been, and there's North Tonawanda, the city of Tonawanda, and the town of Tonawanda.
Love North Tonawanda right now. That's the market I'd be looking at. I got to tell you,
Yep.
It's hot.
But it's hard to find. I've had buyers in that market in the 2 to 250 range. It's really hard to find a house in that price point right now. They're going through the roof.
And 5 years ago, you could get something in the low hundreds.
Yep. And now I found was interesting is Clarence, who has this year we've sold more $1 million homes than this area has ever done in the past. And Clarence had, I think, about almost a third of that or a quarter of those homes, and they're only up 3%.
Yeah, so it's safe.
Yep.
It's safe.
But the values, the prices are so much higher in Clarence than Amherst, and not Amherst as much as Tonawanda.
Right.
So
All right, so if $1 million home and it went up 3%, that's $30,000.
Yeah, it's a lot.
For me sitting and having my tea and crumpets.
Yep.
It's not a bad deal.
No, I mean, you're not losing.
You're not losing.
Nope. So basically what
we're taxes.
So we're still seeing if you list the property right or competitively, you're still gonna have a higher likelihood of selling it over asking.
Cheektowaga, Lancaster, 8%.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not so the figure 8 or 9% is almost 3 times what we normally expect.
Exactly. In this market where throughout the US we know that a lot has changed this year, but in Western New York we're holding strong.
We are holding strong, and so let's prognosticate. How can we continue to hold strong?
Yeah.
Well, let's think about this. There's other markets surrounding us that are in a lot worse shape. And if I was in New York City right now, I might be looking to move. And you know what? You can do remote jobs now.
Yep.
I My daughter, it just took a position with another law firm, and it's a national firm. She's been doing most of her work remotely, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah.
She doesn't have to be living in New York City paying $5,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment, or whatever the stupid number is.
When I lived in New York, I knew at least 4 or 5 people that flew back and forth. You know,
I did for a while.
Yeah. So
back when Freddie Laker had $39 plane fare.
But if you have to be there for meetings Thursday, Friday, you fly out Wednesday night, or you fly in Thursday morning, do your meetings, you come back.
Well, in truth, our own CEO of executive vice president of our association, he lives in Hoboken.
No, really? Did not know that.
Lives in Hoboken. He flies up here for meetings.
Oh.
Okay. Actually, I think he drives up for the meetings.
Wow.
He says, you know what? Between the time you have to be there before the plane, because now it's 2 hours before.
Yep.
He says, and then if you delay,
then you got to rent a car.
You got to rent a car.
Yep.
He says, I'll drive it. That's a lot.
That's about 6-7 hour drive.
You get 6 to 7 hours. I mean, you can do it every once in a while, but I wouldn't want to do it on a regular basis.
No.
But
we're
he
still
does.
seeing that. Yeah.
But he does,
Yep.
and he's living, in a nice place here. Yeah, Hoboken, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Actually, I think he stays at like the Days Inn or something.
Oh, really?
Or whatever, one of those little places. But it's good for him.
Yeah. Yep. So we're seeing.
So that changes the price of tomatoes dramatically if you can do that and you don't have to live in the big metropolitan area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's cool, but it's expensive cool.
Yeah. So you get that money, and then you bring it to a place like Buffalo, where everything
live
costs
like a
lot
duke.
less.
You
Yeah,
live like a duke.
yeah, pretty much.
No, let me think about it. If you have $500,000 in New York City, you're not
can't
buying
get it.
a lot.
No,
I
I
mean,
can't.
And if you're right in Manhattan, I don't think there's anything.
No, I'd be very shocked.
Really, but here, that's a pretty decent house.
Oh yeah,
That's a really decent house.
You're up in the higher end at that point.
Yeah, you're top of the food chain here, and low crime.
Yep.
All that stuff. You don't worry about getting mugged.
Yep.
It's one thing about here. I've never thought about ever being mugged here.
Yeah,
in New York City, it's just part of the deal.
Yeah,
Just expect to be mugged. Don't get me on that subject. I go off.
Yep.
But yeah, so market's still holding well.
Yep.
And we're not seeing this thing yet. I mean, there'll be the usual people that want to take their house off the market if it didn't sell, but it's not a lot here.
Yeah, no.
We don't.
I've seen a lot of price decreases, which is a good thing, right? You're testing the market. You're realizing, hey, you know what? We're not getting activity at this price point. You want to adjust that, which is good. So that.
Yeah. Here's the thing with I want to test the market. You can test it. You just can't test it for very long.
No, you have to have a timeline in
you
place.
Have a time. If you're going to test it for more than 3 weeks, you're going to shoot.
Probably about a week too long.
It's at least a week too long. Yeah, 2 weeks at the outside, 3.
After the first week, if you don't have any showings, that's a telltale sign that something,
it's
the
really
market
so easy because here's the deal: if you have no showings when you first put on the market, Houston, you have a problem.
Yep.
There's only 3 problems that can resolve it: the location, the condition, and the price.
Mm-hmm.
You can't move it unless it's on wheels. If you're not going to fix it, well, that's what it is. So the price is the only thing you got left.
Yep.
But if the market hasn't responded, you haven't done a lot of showings, the market's told you something.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Now, let's make it a little more interesting. You've had tons of showings
Mm-hmm.
and no offers. The market just told you something.
Yes.
What did it tell you? Say, we don't want this package.
Yes.
Because of these 3 things.
Yep.
Which one can you fix? You only got 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really not hard. So test the waters if you want to. Knock yourself out. Don't do it for too long because the water gets deep after a while.
Yes. Well, and then you start backtracking, and I had, and we've all experienced it, where you go in at a price that you're not exactly in agreement with, but you'll do it with, to appease the seller, and then before you know it, you're taking less than what it originally.
Well, that's right. The elevator passes your floor.
Yeah.
I always say, if you start doing the price reductions, you don't want to get into a thing where you can do the death of 1,000 cuts, because you will.
Yes. Yep.
Because the elevator only goes this way. Every once in a while, this is fun. You see somebody say, well, I put it on for 4, I didn't get, I'm putting it on for 5.
Yes, I do.
You do that.
There you go. Yeah.
See you later.
Yep.
Yeah. What are we doing?
What point is that?
Crazy.
Yep.
But so recognize your agent really wants the best for you. And you say, well, he just wants to make a commitment. He makes nothing.
Yes.
If your house doesn't sell.
Mm-hmm.
He wants something. Okay. You want something.
Yep.
Okay.
And I don't know an agent, personally that wants to just put signs in yards. They want to get a deals closed. Our job, we have a, can't sell a house. We have a 0 success rate. That doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So, I never take anything on with the intention just to put a sign in the yard and see if it goes. It's to sell the house.
As a real estate agent, one of the things you learn real early in your career is the only thing that's worse than not having a listing, because there's no reason to go into your store, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have nothing on your shelves. Well, I'm going to put you on back order. Well, that's not so good. The only thing that's worse than that is having a listing that doesn't sell.
Yeah.
Because everyone's pissed off. The seller's pissed off. You're pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
You're spending money because we do it on a contingency basis.
Yep.
We pay the money. If it doesn't work, we lost the money.
Yeah.
And we're trying to give you the real story here.
And I've heard people say, "Oh, it's a write-off." Well, if you didn't make any money, there's nothing to write off.
Right my ass off. It's like, come on, man. You got to make it first before you can write it off.
Correct. Exactly.
And, I tried to use that line. I was working for a developer years ago, and he had to take a hit on something. And I said, he can use it as a write-up. He says, Sonny, you have to make it before you write it off. He was Israeli. He was a cool guy.
Yeah, it's the truth. So
I learned a lot from him. He was very smart.
So that is a myth, the write-off only works if you have the money coming in to write it off.
You gotta be making some money.
Absolutely.
But so the statistics are out there: 57% year over year nationally. People are deciding, I'm going to take my house off the market. And why? Because they made a mistake.
Yeah.
And they're going to blame the market.
Yep.
It's not always the market. Not always the market.
Nope.
Now, with respect to the market, I did a little Googling, not Googling, what's the thing? The AI thing. I said, what's the hottest question that people are asking about in real estate today?
Mm-hmm.
It says the affordability issue.
Okay.
Everyone's talking about it. Everyone.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that come into play.
A lot of factors that come into play, but this is what cannot happen. Under the Mondami plan in New York City, we're just going to freeze rents and lower the rents automatically by mandate. You can do that, but you're going to see people walking from buildings.
Yeah, but what about the owners that have fixed expenses?
Let me get this straight. So I can't charge enough money to pay I guess I got to close.
To keep it running, yeah.
And that's what literally destroyed the South Bronx for 70 years. They couldn't get their act together because people walk from the buildings. Yep. Not a good thing.
No.
And it actually creates a bigger problem. So I don't know what that answer is other than the free market system. Yeah. But hey, that's above my pay grade.
Yeah.
I'm a real estate doctor.
I'm
not a real estate wizard. Okay.
Exactly.
I don't have an answer, but everyone's got an answer. Oh, well, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. The mayor's he's going to be building. Okay, fine. But they're building at different numbers.
Anytime the government builds something, it's usually 3 to 4 times more expensive than the private sector.
The buses,
it takes way longer.
The electric buses, they're $500,000 a pop.
Oh yeah, that was a big time failure.
I gotta have one of those.
Yeah.
$500,000 a pop.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. We're gearing up towards the end of the year here.
And this is actually, we're going to talk about in the next couple of weeks. This is actually a really good time to put your house on the market because the worst dump in the world looks terrific around now.
Yeah.
Put a few decorations. Oh, it looks like Christmas and it's homey. And just for houses especially, they usually tend to look their best this time of the year.
Yeah, with all the lights, because you can't do anything about the brown and the rain and the lack of leaves and all that stuff. So one way to spruce it up is add decorations.
And the last 4 houses I bought in December.
There you go.
And not because it was just life circumstance. So people do buy in December.
Absolutely.
And, when I used to run offices, typically, you'd see, just use easy numbers. Like if you did $5 million a month in September, let's say, it would drop down to like 2.9, maybe 3 in December. So it wasn't quite half, but it was still a lot.
A little bit of a drop, yeah.
Yeah, but there's still people out there buying. And the ones those people, they make decisions because they're looking into December when they should be out shopping. They need to buy.
Yeah.
And they'll make a decision, And one of the things that you learn also in the real estate business is like simple definitions. Definition of buyer. Person who buys. It's real simple. They're not looking, they're not ready, willing, and able. They buy. Yeah. Okay? It's all those things. Of course, they're ready, willing, but they step up. So if you're not going to step up, you're not really a buyer.
No, yeah,
You're a thinker.
Or looky loo.
You're an interesting person.
Yeah.
Like, we can still have conversations, but hey, you're not stepping up and buying.
Yeah, and most people do enjoy looking at Zillow and just looking at the inventory.
And that's
levels
okay.
and
I do
what's
too.
available.
We
Yeah,
all do.
everywhere. Yeah,
Look at that.
Yep.
So. All right, that's our show for today.
Thank you for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Please like, follow, subscribe.
And please do, like he said, because it helps us grow the channel, and it helps us, we're like at 500,000, whatever views. We want to get to 1 million views, hopefully by the end of the year. And that would be a good thing. So subscribe.
Thanks for tuning in.
Go down to the thing and do that.
Just hit the like button and the thumbs up and the subscribe.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Appreciate it.